the pleasure of sharing satsang in your mother tongue is something unique, but that's separate. Uh, so here I go. I had a daughter who was sick for a long time, and when I say long time, first she started falling sick around 1990-91, and alternately she will have asthma and eczema, something we couldn't really find a cure till a point we could handle it no more. It was around 1999, 2000 that I learned from a colleague of mine that there's a Guruji and he is in Empire State, and she said he's very powerful. And she said, go there and he will cure your daughter. We were at that point in life where we could have done anything. You know, for your daughters, you will go anywhere. So I would say I didn't believe much in this, but I wasn't backing out because of that reason, because my daughter's future was at stake. She couldn't appear in her exams, and therefore she was on the verge of losing one ear. And so I told her, fine, take me there. And she said, great, next time I'm going, you come with me. That very night, I had a dream. And in this dream, we both go to a place. At that place, the door opens, and the person at the door lets her in, my colleague, and stops me and tells me, you don't come with anybody else, you come alone. I got up next day, called her up, and said, I'm sorry, wherever you want me to go, I'm going to go alone. And she said, fine. And we forgot. I was walking past, sorry, my apologies, driving past the Empire State with my wife, and I pointed to Empire State and said, here is a guru. This guru is going to cure our daughter. But I'm going to go there only and only if I shift to Gurgaon. Little did I realize that I've decided to put a condition to Guruji. But I did not know at that time that now here I am telling Guruji, you want me to come to you, sir, but I'm going to come only if I'm allowed to shift to Gurgaon. The problem in Gurgaon shift was this. I had a house being built here in the society where I stay now, but had no resources to pay for it. And the only way I could pay was by disposing of my house in Ghaziabad, but I couldn't do that because my parents were staying there. So I was caught in this. I said this, I went past, and few days later, I get a call from my father, and he tells me, you know, we are staying in your house in Ghaziabad. But if you sell it to your elder brother, then we will continue to stay here. And so you don't have to uh, uh, sell it to anywhere else, and you can get your money and move to your own house in Gurgaon. So my parents continued to stay there. My brother bought that house, gave me the money, and I paid for the house. And in 4 months flat, we were in our house. 26th of January 2001, the day we had an earthquake in Delhi, we moved into our house. And I remembered, now that I am here, I have to go to my Guru. I did not know who Guru was, how he looked like, and I had to go alone. So, 18th of February 2001, in the evening, alone, I leave for Guru's place. When I went to Empire State, I was told by the person manning the gate that today Guruji will be in Bade Mandir because it is Mahashivratri day today. And how do I go there? Where is the Bade Mandir? He then pointed to a car with a red light flashing on top, and he said, "This car is going there, just follow it." I followed that car. And those days, this 10.5 kilometers from Empire State to Bade Mandir was pretty empty and barren, hardly any street lights, and very lonely place. I followed the car, went to Bade Mandir, parked my car. There wasn't much Sangat, nothing like what we have today. And very quickly I was in line to enter Bade Mandir, which I did. And soon enough, I was in the main hall. And I looked at Guruji. The first reaction was, maybe I'm at a wrong place. This is not how gurus look like. You know, if you have any idea, I was expecting a saffron kind of a robe, a big beard, and and a saint kind of a look, traditional saint kind look, but it wasn't there. The the place was majestic. Guru was like he owned this world, and I said, maybe he's not the guru that I was supposed to come and meet. So there was this gentleman in front of me. I gently tapped on his shoulder and said, "Is this the Guru from Empire State?" And he didn't like me talking, I could make out, but he still answered me in a very hushed tone. "Uncle, you are at the right place, and don't go from here. Never leave this place ever again." Now, the two sentences became the hallmark and like the guiding principles of my life from that point onwards. And whenever I do satsang, I always say these two things to the Sangat who is joined later and who is joining now. You are at the right place, and never ever leave this place. And you are here because Guru wants you here. It is not that you came on your own. He has planned it all. He made it happen. And he made it happen even when you, like a stupid man, put a condition in front of him. And I was there. Like everybody else, I I followed the rules. I had my langar, and then someone walks up to me and says, "Don't leave without Guru's agya." Okay, and how do I supposed to get agya from Guru? You will get one. And then it was around 2:30 in the morning by the time I got my agya and went home. It was a new home in a remote locality at that time. We had no communication to share with my wife to say where I am and when I'll be coming. Cell phones were there, but I only had one and she had none. So she was very angry because she was worried. And when a woman gets worried, she gets very upset. And when she's upset, she's angry. But normally, how I handle these things, I keep quiet. This, this, this nature of mine and this way of handling things has helped me big time all my life. Just keep quiet. I did that, and the storm blew over. And then I realized she's not going to like when I tell her about Guru, because she always felt that when a person has a time to earn a living and raise a family, last thing he should be doing is wasting his time visiting gurus. Can't blame her. So, very uneventful visit. And then I started visiting Empire State every Saturday. It became a routine. You park your car outside on the road, about 200-meter walk, and as you start getting closer to the place, Guru's Darbar, you start getting that rose fragrance, which is not perfume, which is not rose, which is just a fragrance which may remind you of rose, but distinct from a perfume. Very unique, very intense, and it grew intense as you walked in, and you would know Maharaj is there. Initial times I used to feel maybe he uses this wonderful perfume and that this place has been sprayed with all kind of perfumes and maybe a smell, but it was nice. There used to be a, a sevadar ready to help you with your hands wash. So, and I think invariably it used to be uh, two dentist doctors, Dr. Bajaj and Dr. Gurpreet. Either or both of them used to be there, one holding the towel and the other one helping you wash your hands. You did that, removed your shoes, few steps, and you were ready to walk inside. And quickly I learned that it is better to come sooner, because when 7:30 in the evening the mandir opens, then Maharaj is there sitting on this cabinet next to the kitchen in a very casual attire with his sport shoes and with a half shirt and a trouser. And at that time, he would be in a very uh, nice mood, and you could possibly have a chance to sit close to him and listen to what he says. Speaking to him was not something I ever contemplated. But here was me coming inside, seeing Guru, bow my head, as we call Matha Tekna, my head at his lotus feet, and step back and sit down. Then Guruji will go inside, change, and then walk up to his asan and sit there. I used to watch Sangat. They would bring flowers, the bouquets, and I would watch Guruji speaking to some of them and ignoring some others, and I got a royal ignore as if I wasn't there. But I never gave up. I had this feeling this place belongs to me. This is my Guru. Even if he ignores me, I'm not leaving from here. In fact, I did everything to avoid creating any kind of a disturbance to make sure that I'm not thrown out of that place, that Guru doesn't get upset. So I'm going to sit right behind, as far away from his asan, hiding in a corner so that he doesn't even notice me and he won't even see me. The fact that I came for my daughter was far away from my mind. This was a divine place. And the ambience was so overpowering that every other things from my mind just vanished. Every Saturday. And the routine used to be, you come inside, if Maharaj is there, you bow your head, touch his feet, then step back, sit down, and the chai prasad arrives. And there were very few dedicated sevadars who would do that. And then with time you came to know of their name. Here is Singla uncle, here is Joshi uncle, and here are a few others. So you get chai prasad. And then around 9 o'clock in the night, uh, the sweet dish, the dessert we call halwa, was brought in, and Guruji with his hands served halwa to every one of the Sangat. So you queue up, you line up, you go in front of him, spread your hands like a cup, and he will drop halwa in the hand. And you would have heard it as many times and possibly and hear it one more time. With his one hand, he would give more halwa than both your hands can hold. How he did that, no one has a clue. As you went out, you ate, wash your hands, come back and sit down again. And then some of them would get it again. So it was easily enough to qualify for a dinner, but then there was langar. And after that, whenever there is, he gave agya, the sevadars made you sit in a block of 4 with one plate to eat from. I wasn't used to this, and I wasn't sure this was a great idea. How do you eat from one plate only with your own spoon? And particularly when there were people, occasionally you would like to sit next to them, let alone share langar. And that was a man's ego coming in the way of connecting with Guru. Something I learned much later. That was the starting of removing your ego. You had to eat with everybody, anybody from anywhere, irrespective of their status, age, whatever else. their dress, their looks. So it started, and with time I got used to sharing langar. And today, after so many years, if someone asks me to have langar alone, it feels so different, so odd, that you look around, say, anyone can join me for langar, please? So you look around and see if someone can share langar with you in your plate. But it wasn't that way at that time. And here is one small anecdote related to this. As we queued up to bow our head at his lotus feet, there was a Sangat right behind me from somewhere, and I looked at him and I felt that I will probably be seated next to him, and in that case I may end up sharing langar with him. And I looked at myself, looked at him, I said to Guruji quietly in my heart, this is not happening. Guruji, I'm not going to have langar with this gentleman. So avoided, went around, said somewhere else. And I still remember very vividly that a Sevadar came and said, Uncle, please get up from here. You have to sit somewhere else. Guess what? Exactly next to that person. And then it started sinking in. This Guru seems to know what goes on in your mind. Today, Guru knowing what goes on in your mind is a very happy thing to happen. But that time, it wasn't so happy. It was a scary thought that Guru reads your mind. Oh my God. You have no idea what goes on in my mind, and Guru knows everything, and I can't even control my mind. So, and then I gave up fighting. From that day onwards, I surrendered to the fact that I would sit with anyone, have langar with anyone, and there'll be no argument on this. The first barrier of ego was gone. You stop differentiating and evaluating people by their appearances, because soul could be anybody's and the level could be much higher than yours, so you have no idea. In a plate, when 4 persons ate, we were essentially given 2 chapatis for each to have. And on one occasion, I thought, for a person like me, 2 chapati seems to be too less. So I told my wife, and I'm jumping the gun because I may miss this part of the anecdote later on. But so I want to say it right now. I missed. Uh, I requested my wife to give me something to eat so that I don't starve after langar. So we had dinner and then came to mandir. That day, it so happened that Guruji gave us so much langar. When I say so much, I don't think you have an idea. We had full plate plus 3-4 times more sweets and samosas and whatever else. And then the scariest part was that a plate meant for 4 persons was left just for me and my wife. So between us, we were then supposed to eat what would serve us for 4 full meals at home. And to my uh, discomfort, my auntie, my wife, she says, I'm not eating so much. I'll eat whatever little I eat every day. So you finish the rest. And I had to, and I did. And thereafter, till date, never thought of having something before going to mandir. He knows, and he also knows how to tighten the screw when your mind starts to play and act. Coming back to the experience at mandir. This routine went on. Every Saturday I will come and this ritual will be performed. I never discussed with my wife because I was not sure how she is going to react to this. I wasn't very keen that she says something not so good about my Guru. So I used to say, let Guru decide when and how she will be brought in his presence. I'm going to keep quiet. Guruji in 2002 went to Punjab. I think he went to Punjab in 2001 and nobody told me. We never talked about it. Sangat hardly interacted. And so because I did not know, I would go every Saturday. Gate will be closed. I will bow in front of the gate and do my pranam and come back. It continued, and sometimes in March 2002, I get a dream of Guruji. It was unbelievable. And he tells me, you don't come every day. I will be there on 14th of April. You come that day. I got up and I told my wife, mustering all the courage that I could, and I thought she will be impressed with this. And I said, I'm not going this Saturday. In fact, I will only go on 14th of April. Because Guruji in my dream told me not to come. And she gave me those hard looks, really wondering if my mind is at the right place, because she thought I'm starting to see dreams of a guru. What is that? But she spoke nothing. I said nothing. And I went to Empire State on 14th. And I realized Guruji was there. But that was the first Sangat after Guruji came back from Punjab. He had returned on 13th from Punjab, and 14th was his first Sangat. And I was excited. My dream had come true. And Guru's dreams were not dreams. They're real. And all the fear that I'm not a welcome person here because Guru doesn't talk to me, he doesn't give me that look with full of blessings, and he doesn't talk to me. But at least he comes in dreams. So it is maybe not as good as talking to him, but not as bad anymore. So I was encouraged, and I came back and I told my auntie, Guruji was there. And he was there as he promised he will be. That day, for the first time, her looks were not rigid and she was quite mellowed, and maybe I felt she had this feeling that maybe I go to a place which is not so bad after all. It's a it is maybe a guru where I'm going and I should be going, and she shouldn't mind it at all. But she said nothing. I just felt the looks were not as harsh as they were earlier, and this whole process was accepted by her. But she never volunteered to come with me. Even though I heard from Sangat that Guruji always encouraged spouses to accompany. You come in pair, you never go alone. You go there with your wife or husband. But I was not taking chance. And life continued. Till one day, I get up in the morning, I see my wife sitting at the edge of the bed, very worried, very harassed, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up and say, what happened? And she said, there's somebody in the house. A thief has come, and I've looked around, there's nobody. The house is closed from inside, but he was there. So, after usual conversation as to why she did not tell me, and I should have been woken up, etc., etc., we both went around looking for this thief. There was none. She wasn't dreaming. This happened in real terms. And because the Guru's photos were not available handily, and you could get one only when it is blessed and given to you by Maharaj himself or one of his sevadars with his approval, there was no way I could have shown what my Guru looked like. And here was my Guru. So I asked her, I had this suspicion that maybe Maharaj, but I said, tell me how it looked like. And then she tells me there was this, let me translate as close to the way she described, this bald man with a royal kind of a robe, uh, like a magician, and this handsome, and God knows what all. He was standing next to the fridge, with hands folded in front and smiling and looking at the entire house. Few more questions and I knew exactly who was there. And so I almost folded my hands and I told her, we never talked about this. I was too scared to tell you, else you stopped me from going. I don't want to pick up a fight with you, but please, it was my Guru, that handsome man that you just saw in the morning is my Guru, and he's come here to bless you, and he's here to take you to his place. So I request you, just once, come with me. If you don't like the place, don't go again, but come with me. And surprise, 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 she agrees. And I was a relieved man. I will also go with my auntie. I will also be able to introduce my wife to Guruji. And that would be amazing. Everyone comes with their wives. I'm the only one coming there alone. It's like half of me visiting there. And so next Saturday, she agrees to accompany. As we enter, we do the usual routine of bowing our head, matha teko in front of him, touch his lotus feet, step back, and I turn around to go back to the end of the room because I won't sit next to Guru. Even though there was place, and she whispers in my ears, "Why are we going back? Why don't we sit right in front?" And I looked at her, "Are you mad? You don't sit close to Guru. You sit as far away as possible." And she says, "No, I like to sit here." And then I quietly said, "Have it your way, ma'am. I'm sitting at my usual place. You go ahead and sit wherever you feel like." Because Guruji was within whispering distance, I could not say anything. So she sat in front of him, and I go back to the end of the room, next to the music system, next to Guruji's bedroom, next to that door. And by the way, from under that door, Guruji's fragrance used to keep coming from his bedroom. So it was another reason I would sit there. And she sat there looking at Guru. Something I never did. I can't do even today. And every time she would try to look at him, Guru will break his conversation, turn his head, look at her, and she will immediately put her head down, and Guruji will continue his discussion, chat, whatever else with the Sangat. This happened 3, 4 times. Every single time this happened, she will immediately withdraw her look. In the end, after langar, everything, we go home, and my auntie cannot sleep for 4, 5 days because those eyes were something will just not go from her imagination. She cannot get to sleep. That overpowering look was something she had not expected. So next Saturday, she again agrees to come with me. And as we again turn back after bowing our head to Maharaj, she quietly whispers in my ear, "You know what? I will sit with you at the end of the room, not in front, because I cannot handle that look." And I said, "Thank God. This should have happened earlier. This is happening now. This is great." And I told her, "We belong to the end of the room. There are these people who sit next to Guru are at a different level, and I don't think I'm anywhere close to that." But all this while, Guru never spoke to me. And I wondered if ever that time will come. So on one occasion, when I was in front of him to receive halwa prasad in my hands, I was in this posture with my hands folded, hands in front to receive halwa prasad, almost like a cup like this, and looking down, and I realized time lapsed, but halwa prasad never dropped me in my hand. And my worst fears came true. I felt maybe This is it. I'm not getting halwa. I'm not getting anything. And if I looked up, Guruji will probably tell me to get lost from here. That this is all you could get. This is the end of your road with me. Now move on. Oh God. For quite a few seconds, I won't look up, and halwa prasad won't drop. And finally, I looked up and looked at Maharaj. Perhaps, possibly the only time I had this courage to look at him, and Maharaj looked at me with a smile on his face and quietly asked me, "What is your name?" And I said, "Maharaj, you know what? You just imagine you spend all your time wondering when will be that day when Maharaj is going to speak to me, if that will ever happen." And when that moment came, he was holding Halwa Prasad in his hand and he was looking at me and he asking me my name. You know what? You almost felt numb and knocked out. This is not happening. I never wanted this to happen. Guruji, I don't want to talk to you. Just let me go. But said nothing. I mumbled my name. Guruji, my name is Rajkumar. And then came the next question. He said, "What do you do?" I said, "This is getting long." And I said, "I'm going to answer second question." I said, "Guruji, my name is Rajkumar. I was in the Navy." And I said, I retired as commander, or words to that effect. And Guruji says, with smile on his face, very gently says, "Keep coming." I get goosebumps imagining that moment, because from being unwanted person there to someone who was permitted to come was phenomenal. And as I got up, my excitement had just no limits. Somebody whispered in my ear and he says, "Congratulations, uncle." And I said, "What happened?" He said, "You have been admitted. You have received your admission in Guru's Sangat." And I stepped out. It's like you cleared some major exam. You have been awarded a degree. It's almost felt like I'm now Sangat. Now nobody can throw me out of this place. I belong here. This is my Guru. I'm his Sangat and I'm his devotee. My Guru has accepted me, and it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter what goes on in my mind. It doesn't matter what I do. What is my background? Where I came from? Nothing. I am my Guru's Sangat, and that is my identity, and that has been my identity ever since. Everything else, every other introduction has been secondary, is secondary. It means nothing to me. That's all I want to be. That's all I ever wanted to be. That's all I ever desire in future. As simple, as elementary, as basic, and as complicated as it can ever be. This is my Guru. And then I go back and I tell my auntie, I am my Guru's Sangat. You know why? Because he said so. Now, my my wife, my auntie, got a nice haircut. She had long hairs, and suddenly she got this short hair. And as he came to Mandir, some of the other aunties who had come to know her a little bit told her, Auntie, you're so changed. We can't even recognize you. And she believed that she is unrecognizable, therefore Guru may also not recognize her. And that day, again, she had this little itch, and she said, because I had a haircut, therefore Guru cannot recognize me, so I'm going to sit in front again. I looked at her, folded my hands, and said, be my guest. But I'm not coming with you. I'm going to sit exactly where I always sit. And she goes and sits right in front, maybe 2 meters away, 3 meters away. And as soon as he sits and the chai prasad comes, single uncle brings the chai prasad. With Guru's agya starts distribution, but before that Guru calls him and whispers something, and then uncle walks up to auntie, and auntie felt maybe something wrong. But as he walks up to her and whispers and says, congratulations, auntie, you have been admitted to the college directly. And she said, what happened? And he says, Guru just said that this this auntie in bobbed hair is Commander Auntie. Go tell her. So she thought she cannot be recognized, and Guru said, I'm going to break that notion in your mind immediately. And he says, I know you are. You cut your hair, you go bald, you do whatever. I will always know you. That day onwards, there was never a request, ever, from her to sit in front. Except when on an occasion when Guru wanted us to sit in front, he stopped us and he said, sit here. There was no place, and then Guruji made both of us sit right next to his asan, within touching distance almost, and we had our langar there. So he knew that we don't normally sit there, and so he one day made sure we did. We basically slowly got so dependent on him for everything. He took over all our responsibilities of life. He took control of our destiny. He took control of our day-to-day life. He took control of everything from smallest to the biggest. And he kept track of us. It's like nothing we ever did, nothing we ever do, nothing ever happens to us happens without his permission, with his approval, without him making it happen to us. The more you surrender, more control passes on to him. But the surrender is something we're going to talk about later. This will come in subsequent interaction of ours. Sufficient to say that that moment we became his Sangat. That was the moment our life changed forever. Everybody had these swarups given to them by Guruji, and they would pin them up here. If you recollect, I had shown you mine uh, on an earlier occasion. It is It was that Sarup with both his hands raised like this in a blessing mode. And but the story behind that Sarup coming to me was like this. Everybody had them, I didn't. So I was having langar with Colonel Chatterjee, his devotee of the highest order. We looked up to him and asked him, Uncle. In fact, he was senior military man, so always addressed to him as sir. I said, Sir, how can I get a photograph like this? And he says, just ask Guruji. So I told him, I can't look at him. Talking to him is farthest from my mind. And he says, no, just close your eyes now and say, Maharaj, I need the Sarups. I need the photographs. Trust me, I didn't believe him. No way. Guru will not come to know if I ever said this prayer. But okay, he said to do so. I just quietly closed my eyes in the process of having langar and just said to myself, Guruji, can I have those sarups, please? I also like to put this on top of my pocket. And forgot. After langar, when we got agya from Guru, we lined up, and it was 7th or 8th in the line in sequence when Guru made a gesture and a box was delivered to him by one of the Sevadars. That box had those photographs. And when my turn came, he opened the box, counted 4, and handed me over and closed the box and returned it. Just for me. The box was called. The prayer was heard instantly. This is how I got my sorrow. I have kept that as a memory of my Guru, something that I received from him. There are stories, there are day-to-day experiences which I will share as we continue our interaction. But I think for today we should pause here and take it up from this point next time, which will be tomorrow. You can unmute